Hello students, welcome to the English class. Hope you all are keeping well. Today we are going to see the topic which you are aware of. But before get into the topic, I want you to find the name of the topic. Is it possible to find without clues? No. Okay then, here the clues are. First clue, it refers to different items around us on the planet. Again, it refers to different items around us on the planet. Second clue, they are the first and focal building squares of language. They are the first and focal building squares of language. Now the third clue, it is a grammatical form that signifies a man, creature, spot, thing or thought. It is a grammatical form that signifies a man, creature, spot, thing or thought. I think that you reached the topic nearly. If I give this clue, definitely you will find the topic name. And the clue is, it is important because they refer to places, objects and people and the more sophisticated abstract concepts. It is important because they refer to places, objects and people and the more sophisticated abstract concept. Yes, what you guess is right. Today we are going to see all about the nouns. Okay, children? Shall we start the class? Are you ready to learn? Yes. What are nouns? Nouns are the basic building blocks of sentences. It refers to persons, places, animals, things, ideas, events, etc. It encompasses most of the words of a language. In sentence, it can play the role of subject, object, complement or adjective. In sentence, it can play the role of subject, object, complement or adjective. So here are some examples for nouns. Apple, appointment, stupidity, relief, seashore, relation, peanut and motorcycle. So the simple definition for nouns are the naming words. It names a person, place, animal, thing or idea. Here there is an example. You want to identify the nouns in this sentence. The boy and girl were holding hands as they crossed the bridge on the way to town. The boy and girl were holding hands as they crossed the bridge on the way to town. So you want to identify the nouns in this sentence. So the nouns in this sentence are boy, girl, hands, bridge and town. So these are the nouns in this sentence. Okay, good. Now look at these sentences. First one, I can make it to my appointment without you. Second one, we all breathe a sigh of relief. Third one, a written word is the choices of relax. Relax means evidence. Fourth one, the afternoon dragged on. Fifth one, how are relations between the two of them going? Sixth one, she wondered at her own stupidity. Can you find a noun in these sentences? You say there are no nouns in these sentences, said, but I say there are. Do you remember the examples I gave to the noun? No, don't go back to the video. I will tell you some tips to recognize a noun in the sentences. Another way of recognizing a noun is by its ending, position, function. So we easily recognizing a noun by its ending word, position of that word and function of the word. The very first we are going to see how to identify a noun by its ending. So there are certain word endings that show that a word is a noun. There are certain word endings that show that a word is a noun. For example, ity, ending in ity. Example, nationality, ending in ment. Example, appointment. Third one, ending in ness, happiness. aiation, example, relation. Last one, hood, example, childhood. Using the way of ending, you can easily identify the noun in a sentence. Is it? Okay. The second way to identify the noun is by its position. By its position. So we can often recognize a noun by its position in the sentence. How? So nouns often come after a determiner. Nouns often come after a determiner. What is a determiner? A determiner is a word like a, and, the, this, my, such, etc. Okay. Nouns often come after a determiner. Some examples: a relief, an afternoon, the doctor, this word, my house, such stupidity. So here the nouns are relief, afternoon, doctor, stupidity, house and word. Before that the determiner is there. This, and, my, the, such. Okay. So nouns often come after a determiner. Using this thing you can easily identify a noun in the sentence. Not only that, nouns often come after one or more adjectives. Nouns often come after one or more adjectives. Let's see the examples. A great relief. Here relief is a noun, a is a determiner and great is an adjective. Okay. A great relief. A peaceful afternoon. The tall Indian doctor. Here doctor is a noun, the is a determiner, tall and Indian are adjectives, two adjectives. So nouns often come after one or more adjectives. Fourth one, this difficult word. Fifth one, my brown and white house. Sixth one, such crass stupidity. So nouns often come after one or more adjectives. Next way to recognize a noun by its function. By its function. So nouns have certain functions in a sentence. Nouns have certain functions in a sentence. Already I told it can play the role of subject, object, complement or adjective. Okay, let's see the example. First one, subject of verb. So here noun acts as a subject. Okay, example, doctors work hard. Here doctors subject, so it acts as a subject. So noun acts as a subject, so subject of verb. Second one, object of verb. He likes coffee. Here coffee is a noun, so it acts as a object. It acts as an object. Third one, subject and object of verb. A subject and object of verb. Example, teachers teach students. Here teachers and students are nouns, so nouns act as a subject as well as object. So nouns have certain functions in a sentence like subject, object, complement or adjectives. So students, Using these clues, hereafter you will easily find the noun in the sentence, is it? I think now you are ready to give the answer for this examples, what we saw before. Again, I can make it to my appointment without you. We all breathe a sigh of relief. A written word is the choicest of relax. The afternoon dragged on. How are relations between the two of them going? Last one, she wondered at her own stupidity. Now identify the nouns. Okay. In the first sentence, what's a noun? Appointment is a noun. Very good. Second sentence, relief. Third sentence, word. Very good. In the fourth sentence, afternoon. The fifth one, relations. And sixth one, stupidity. Very good. Next we are going to see about the types of nouns. Types of nouns. The first type, proper nouns. The first type, proper nouns. What is a proper noun? A proper noun may also be referred to as a proper name. It is a noun which refers to a specific person, place, or thing. The use of proper nouns during spoken conversation is not often considered to be important. The use of proper nouns during spoken conversation is not often considered to be important because the syntax is not affected. Syntax means sentence. So, during spoken conversation, it is not often considered to be important because the sentence is not affected. However, when we use a proper noun within our written work, it is important to ensure that correct use of capital letters. When we use a proper noun within our written work, it is important to ensure the correct use of capital letters. Next one important thing to remember when using a proper noun is that the first letter should always be a capital. One important thing to remember when using a proper noun is that the first letter should always be a capital regardless of where they appear in a sentence. So, we should capitalize the first letter of the proper noun no matter where they occurs in a sentence. Okay, let's look at some examples of the proper noun. Australian outback, the Eiffel Tower. So here Australian and Eiffel are a specific name. So the first letter of these words are capitalized. As you can see, all of those proper nouns refer to a specific thing. So you are able to give more information about the specific thing you are talking about. It is sometimes difficult to determine what is a proper noun and therefore needs to take a capital letter and what does not. So it is difficult to determine which proper noun needs to take a capital letter and which does not. So here are some examples of things that do and do not need to take a capital letter. Use capital letter for brand names, weekdays and month's name. Brand names, weekdays and month's name. Do not use capital letter for seasons of the year and job titles. Seasons of the year and job titles. Let's see some examples. Names of days, months and holidays. So days of the week, the names of months and the official names of holidays are all proper nouns. Example, I have to work on Tuesday. Tuesday is the day of the week. So first letter is capitalized. This Saturday is the fourth Saturday. Third one, come to my house in July for the party. July is a month of the year, so first letter is capitalized. Fourth one, is your birthday in the month of December. December, month of the year, D is capitalized here. Next, names of brands. Brand names are proper nouns because they describe a distinct product. So company names are also proper nouns. See the examples: Nike, Google, Disney, Mountain Dew, Amazon, Walmart. So these are all the names of the companies and brand names. So these are all proper nouns. So first letter for all these names are capitalized. Next, here are few examples of the seasons used correctly in the lowercase form. For the season, remember, do not use capital letter before the seasons of the year. Let's see these examples. The winter season allows for many snow-related sports. The winter season allows for many snow-related sports. Second one, my favorite flowers bloom in the spring. My favorite flowers bloom in the spring. Third one, this summer's heat wave lasted over a month. This summer's heat wave lasted over a month. We often take long drives to look at autumn foliage. Foliage means leaves. Okay. So here winter, spring, summer and autumn are name of the seasons. But we use a lowercase form to start these words because we should not use capital letter before the seasons of the year. Here I have given some sentences. You want to identify the proper noun from these sentences. Okay. First one, Emily loved spending time with her aunt Nancy in Paris. Emily loved spending time with her aunt Nancy in Paris. Second one, we visited Lake Erie, which separates the United States and Canada. We visited Lake Erie, which separates the United States and Canada. Third one, these birds are from Australia. These birds are from Australia. Fourth one, my cousin lives in Norway. My cousin lives in Norway. Fifth one, the Eiffel Tower in Paris is an instantly recognizable landmark. Sixth one, he also likes Hyundai Motors, Korea Chemicals and Samsung Electric. Have you identified, children? Shall we check the answer? Here are the answers. First one, Emily loved spending time with her aunt Nancy in Paris. Here Emily, Nancy and Paris are proper nouns. Second one, we visited Lake Erie, which separates the United States and Canada. Here Lake Erie, United States and Canada are proper nouns. Third one, these bears are from Australia. Australia, proper noun. Fourth one, my cousin lives in Norway. Norway is a proper noun. Fifth one, the Eiffel Tower in Paris is an instantly recognizable landmark. Here Eiffel Tower and Paris are proper nouns. Last one, he also likes Hyundai Motors, Korea Chemicals and Samsung Electric. So here Hyundai Motors, Korea Chemicals and Samsung Electric are proper nouns. How many of you find the answer correctly? Congratulations to those who find the answer correctly. Next noun, common nouns. Okay, What is a common noun? A common noun is a non-specific person, place or thing. So it is a non-specific person, place or thing. These words are non-specific nouns and can be referring to any person, place, animal or thing. So these words are non-specific nouns and can be referring to any person, place, animal or thing. So, a common noun is the general ordinary name of a person, place or thing. See this example. For persons, girl, boy, sister and brother we can use. For places, hospital, country, town. For things, water, butter, book and car. So, common noun can refer to anything that is living or non-living or inanimate. It can also name a person or an abstract idea or concept. It can also name a place or an abstract idea or concept. So common nouns are everywhere and you use them all the time even if you don't realize it. Wherever you go, you will find at least one common noun like street, closet, school, mall, living room, etc. Okay. So all of these places are things and thus they are common nouns. All of these places are things and thus they are common nouns. Common nouns are usually not capitalized. Common nouns are usually not capitalized. Exceptions to the rule. Exception to the rule. There are two exceptions to be aware of when using common nouns. So there are two exceptions to be aware of when using common nouns. First one, when a common noun appears as the first word in a sentence, it is capitalized. What is the first rule? When a common noun appears as the first word in a sentence, it is capitalized. So the example, the word cities, which is a common noun. The word cities is a common noun, is capitalized in the following sentence only because it is the first word in the sentence. It is capitalized in the following sentence only because it is the first word in the sentence. See this example. Cities must budget carefully during times of economic difficulty. Cities must budget carefully during times of economic difficulty. Here the word cities, common noun, but we capitalize the first letter because it is the first word in the sentence. The only other occasion for capitalizing a common noun is the second exception. If it appears in a title. If it appears in a title. Example, the word dog is a common noun, is it? So the word dog is a common noun which would not ordinarily need to be capitalized. Which would not ordinarily need to be capitalized. Example, in the title, my dog Skip. However, the common noun dog is capitalized since this is the title of a book and a movie. This is the title of a book and a movie. So, we capitalize the first letter D. Now, we are going to identify the common noun in these sentences. Okay, are you ready? Yes. Here the questions are. These chocolates and cakes are so delicious. Second, trees are good for the environment. Third one, judge not a book by its cover. Fourth one, I prefer to live in a hot country. Fifth one, we walked along the river bank. Sixth one, I get fed up with television quiz shows. Seventh one, the queen was crowned with due ceremony. So, what you want to find now? You want to find the common nouns. Okay. So, common nouns are the general name given to person, place, animal or thing. Have you found the common nouns? So let's check the answer. Okay. First one. These chocolates and cakes are so delicious. Here, chocolates and cakes are common nouns. Second one. Trees are good for the environment. So here, trees are common noun. Okay, very good. Third one. Judge not a book by its cover. Here, which is a common noun? Book. And the fourth question. I prefer to live in a hot country. Here, country is a common noun. Very good. Fifth one, we walked along the river bank. Here, which is a common noun? The word river. Okay. Sixth one, I get fed up with television quiz shows. Here, television is a common noun. Next, the last question. The queen was crowned with due ceremony. Here, which word is common? Noun, queen. Now, you learned two types of nouns well, said. So, let's quickly recap the proper nouns and common nouns. Common nouns are common names of persons, things, places, animals or events. Okay. They start with a small letter. Common nouns start with a small letter. Coming to the proper nouns are specific names of persons, things, places, animals and events. They always start with a capital letter. Proper noun always start with a capital letter. See these examples. My favorite newspaper is the Washington Post. Okay, second example, you broke my favorite mug. I can't believe you broke my Snoopy mug. Let's go to watch a live game at the stadium. Let's try to get good seats at Wrigley Field. Okay. Now find the proper and common noun in these sentences. Have you found that? Let's check the answer. My favorite newspaper. Here, newspaper is a common noun and the name of the newspaper, Washington Post, is a proper noun. Okay. Second one, mug is a common noun and the name of that mug, Snoopy mug, that is a proper noun. Third one, stadium is a common noun. The name of the stadium, Wrigley Field, is a proper noun. So, common nouns are common names of person, things, places, animals or events. Start with a small letter, but proper nouns are specific names of person, things, places, animals and events. They always start with a capital letter. Some more example for common nouns and proper nouns. Here, school is a common noun and the name of the school, Harvard University, is a proper noun. Mouse, common noun. Mickey Mouse, proper noun. Gorilla, common noun. King Kong, name of that gorilla, proper noun. City, common noun. New York City, proper noun. Web browser, common noun. Google, proper noun. Okay. I think now you have a clear idea about the proper noun and common noun. Is it, children? If you are looking to name a group of things while speaking or writing in the English language, what type of noun you need to use? Yes, you need to use a collective noun. This is a type of noun that we see very often in the language, and it is important that you are aware of how they function within a sentence. Collective noun is a word used to represent a group of people, animals or things. It is the word used to represent a group of people, animals or things. So, a collective noun is noun that used to name something that form in group or in collection. So, used to name something that form in group or in collection. Let's see the structure form for the collective noun. What is the structure form? Collective noun plus of plus common noun. Structure form, collective noun plus of plus common noun. Collective noun, the word given to that group or collection, plus of, after that common noun. So they are names of collections or the word that used for define a group of objects. So they are names of collections or the word that used for define a groups of objects. So for example, for people, a crowd of people. Crowd is a collective noun plus of plus people. Animals, a swarm of bees. Swarm, collective noun. Places, a union of countries. Union, collective noun. Things, a network of computers. Network, collective noun. So structure, form for collective noun plus of plus common noun. Some examples for collective nouns: a pride of lions, a flight of steps, an army of ants, a class of pupils, a swarm of bees, a brood of chicks, a string of pearls, a gang of thieves, a crowd of people, a school of fish, a pack of cards, a herd of cattle, a clump of trees, a pack of wolves, a choir of singers, a sheaf of papers, a litter of puppies, a troop of dancers. The yellow color words mentioned here are collective nouns. The yellow color words mentioned here are collective nouns. It's the name given to that group or collection. A pride of lions, a group of lions. We call a group of lions a pride of lions. We call a group of ants an army of ants. Group of chicks, a brood of chicks. A group of pearls, a string of pearls. So, collective noun is the word used to represent a group of people, animals or things. So, word used to represent a group of people, animals or things. Some more examples for the collective nouns: family, group, committee, class, organization, team, army, club, crowd, government, jury, minority, public, mob, etc. Okay, these are some examples for the collective noun. Collective nouns are generally taken as whole and hence are treated as singular, and singular verb is used. So after the collective noun, singular verb is used. Okay, collective nouns are generally taken as whole and hence are treated as singular, and singular verb is used. Now we are going to see about the agreement with collective noun. What is that agreement? See here, first one, use a singular verb with a collective noun acting as a single unit. Okay, if the collective noun act as a single unit, we use the singular verb. Act as a single unit, we use the singular verb. Second, use a plural verb when the individual members of the group are acting individually. Okay, if the group of the members are acting individually, we use plural verb. If the group of members act as single unit, we use singular verb. Act as an individually, we use plural verb. Let's see this example. First one, the soccer team marches in the parade. Okay, the soccer team marches in the parade. Here the collective noun used as a single unit. Soccer team used as a single unit. So all the players marches in the parade. Okay, for the plural, the soccer team have many different skills. So here the team members individually have different skills. Not the group, individual members in the team have many different skills. So here the member of the team speak individually. Okay, so we are using plural verb. The soccer, for the singular, the soccer team marches in the parade. For the plural, the soccer team have many different skills. To understand that agreement clearly, let's see some more examples. The jury has awarded custody to the grandmother. Here jury considered as a single unit. So a collective decision taken by the jury members. So we are using singular verb has. Okay, the jury has awarded custody to the grandmother. Second one, the jury members have been arguing for 5 days. Here the group is divided. So the The members of the jury have been arguing for 5 days. Each other they are here we are speaking about the member of the jury individually. Okay, the group is divided. And then the class has met its teachers. The class has met its teacher. Here the class as a unit. Here the class is considered as a unit. So we are using the singular verb. Second, the plural. The class were disagreeing with another. The class were disagreeing with one another. So here the class students or class members are disagreeing with one another. We are speaking that person individually. We are speaking that class people individually. So we are using that plural verb. The class were disagreeing with one another. Next one, the team is on the field. The team is on the field. Okay, the team is a group of members is on the field. Plural, the team are working together. The team are working together. So the team of the people are working together. So for the plural verb, for the singular verb. Now we are going to see the exercise for the collective noun. So what is a collective noun? It is a word used to represent a group of people, animals or things. Okay, let's see the exercise for the collective noun. So fill in the blanks with suitable collective nouns from the list. So fill in the blanks with suitable collective nouns from the list. So collective nouns are given in the bracket. We have to choose the correct collective noun to fill in the blanks given here. Okay, what are the collective nouns given here? See, choir, pride, flock, bunch, troop, flight, band, swarm, litter. Okay, choir, pride, flock, bunch, troop, flight, band, swarm, litter. So collective nouns are in the bracket. Fill up, the exercises are given here. So we want to fill in that blanks with correct collective nouns. First question, the cat has a dash of 5 kittens. The cat has a dash of 5 kittens. Second, the dash of singers sang melodiously. The dash of singers sang melodiously. Third one, the jungle safari gave us an opportunity to spot a dash of lions. The jungle safari gave us an opportunity to spot a dash of lions. Fourth one, the poachers were attacked by a dash of wild elephants. The poachers were attacked by a dash of wild elephants. Who is a poacher? Poacher is a person who hunts animals illegally. Person who hunts animals illegally. Fifth one, a dash of bees forced us to take shelter in the cave. Sixth one, a dash of stairs leads to the terrace. A dash of stairs leads to the terrace. Seventh, the dash of musicians delivered a magical performance. The dash of musicians delivered a magical performance. Eighth one, the children were amused by the dash of monkeys in the park. The children were amused by the dash of monkeys in the park. Ninth one, a dash of grapes was hanging from the vine. A dash of grapes was hanging from the vine. So we want to find the correct collective noun to fill the blanks. What are the collective nouns given here? Choir, pride, flock, bunch, troop, flight, band, swarm and litter. Have you found the answers? Let's check the answer. The first one, the cat has a litter of 5 kittens. So, kittens, collective noun, litter. So, the cat has a litter of 5 kittens. Second one, the choir of singers sang melodiously. The choir of singers sang melodiously. Third one, the jungle safari gave us an opportunity to spot a pride of lions. Group of lions we can call pride of lions. The poachers were attacked by a herd of wild elephants. The poachers were attacked by a herd of wild elephants. Fifth one, a swarm of bees forced us to take shelter in the cave. A swarm of bees. Sixth one, a flight of stairs leads to the terrace. A flight of stairs. Seventh one, the band of musicians delivered a magical performance. So, band of musicians, collective noun. The eighth one, the children were amused by the troop of monkeys in the park. Group of monkeys, troop of monkeys. Seventh one, you already know this thing. A bunch of grapes. A bunch of grapes was hanging from the vine. Okay, children. So, collective nouns or names of collections or the word that used for define a groups of objects. Next, we are going to see an interesting noun. What is that name given to that interesting noun? Nothing. That is abstract noun. Abstract noun. You get confused. This is also one of the type of nouns. Then why ma'am said this is an interesting noun? Because these are the nouns that we cannot hear, we cannot smell, we cannot taste, we cannot touch, and we cannot see. Then how we identify these nouns? We identify these nouns through our experience. Okay, through our experience only we identify these nouns. So here are some examples. See here, wisdom, friendship, honesty, intelligence, jealousy, imagination, anger, sadness. So these are the abstract noun. We identify this noun through our experience. We identify this through our experience. We cannot see, we cannot touch, we cannot smell, we cannot taste, and we cannot hear these nouns. We can identify this through our experience. So here are some nouns given which we can experience. Bravery, racism, inequality, injustice, fairness, discrimination. So these are some nouns which we can experience, and these nouns are called as abstract noun, and these nouns are called as abstract nouns. Next, how the abstract nouns form from some other words. Okay, now we are going to see how the abstract nouns form from some other words. That is, first one, how abstract nouns form from adjective words. Now first we are going to see abstract noun form from adjective. See here, kind, kindness. Kind is an adjective. Kindness is an abstract noun. Okay. Long, length, honest, honesty, new, newness. Strong, strength. Thirsty, thirst. Unique, uniqueness. Weak, weakness. Wide, width, wise, wisdom. Okay. These are some examples for abstract noun that form from the adjective word. Next, abstract nouns from verb. How abstract nouns form from verb? First one, behave, behavior, die, death, free, freedom, grow, growth, know, knowledge, laugh, laughter, lose, loss, marry, marriage, please, pleasure, sell, sale, speak, speech, think, thought. So these are some examples for abstract noun formed from the verb. Now I am going to check your understanding about the abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are nouns which you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot taste, you cannot smell, and you cannot hear, but you can experience. Let's get into the exercise. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So you want to find the abstract noun in the given sentences. Okay, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Second, your mind can know a million things. Your mind can know a million things. Third one, they laughed at my idea. They laughed at my idea. Fourth one, she will defeat them. She will defeat them. Fifth one, I was delighted at the news of her success. I was delighted at the news of her success. Sixth one, your kindness quite overwhelms me. Your kindness quite overwhelms me. Seventh, he has maturity beyond his years. He has maturity beyond his years. Eighth one, I am not looking for any money from you. I want only your goodwill. Shall we check the answers? Yes. First one, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Here, which is an abstract noun? Beauty. Second one, your mind can know a million things. Here, which is an abstract noun? Mind. They laughed at my idea. Here, idea is an abstract noun. She will defeat them. Here, which is an abstract noun? The word defeat. Okay. I was delighted at the news of her success. Here, success is an abstract noun. See this, delighted is given here. Okay. If delight is given, that is an abstract noun. If delight is given, that is an abstract noun. Delighted is not an abstract noun. Okay. Delight is given means that is an abstract noun. So, they are given delighted. So, delighted is not an abstract noun. Sixth one, your kindness quite overwhelms me. Here, kindness is an abstract noun. Seventh one, he has maturity beyond his years. Maturity, abstract noun. The last sentence, I'm not looking for any money from you. I want only your goodwill. Here, which is an abstract noun? Goodwill is an abstract noun. Now you understand the abstract noun clearly, is it, children? So what is an abstract noun? It is a noun that we cannot see, we cannot touch, we cannot hear, we cannot smell, and we cannot taste. But we can experience through our senses. Through these 5 senses, we can experience the abstract noun. Next, we are going to see about countable and uncountable nouns. Countable and uncountable nouns. So first, countable nouns. Nouns you can count. Now, countable nouns are nouns that you can count. You can use a or an in front of countable nouns. So, you can use a or an in front of countable nouns. Nouns that have a plural form. Countable nouns have singular or plural form. Countable nouns have singular or plural form. Some examples for countable nouns are apple, pizza, eggs, candies. Okay. Next, uncountable nouns. So, countable nouns are nouns that we can count. The uncountable nouns are opposite to countable nouns. So, uncountable noun is a noun that you can't count in number directly. That you can count in number directly. It can be a very small thing or a very big thing. Okay, however it is, we cannot count in number directly. See the example, thing, milk, sugar, salt, furniture. Okay, can we ask, give me one milk, give me one sugar? No. So, these are all uncountable nouns. So, we cannot count in number. For emotion, anger, happiness, knowledge. And for language, English, German, Spain. For subject, mathematics, physics, activity, swimming, eating. For other uncountable nouns, we have, what are they? News, money, mail, work, gossip, education, weather, research, traffic, breakfast, permission. So these are some examples for uncountable nouns which we cannot count in number directly. Okay, children? Some more examples of uncountable nouns. First one, ideas and experiences. For ideas and experiences, related uncountable nouns are advice, information, progress, news, luck, fun, work. Next one, materials and substances. Water, rice, cement, gold, milk. For weather words related uncountable nouns. Weather, thunder, lightning, rain, snow. Next one, names for groups or collections of things. Okay. For this, what are the uncountable nouns? We are using there furniture, equipment, rubbish, luggage. The last one, other common uncountable nouns include accommodation, baggage, homework, knowledge, money, permission, research, traffic, travel. So these are some examples for uncountable nouns which we are using in our daily life. When I gave the definition for countable nouns, I told that you can use a or an in front of the countable nouns. So that a and an are called as articles. A and an are called as articles. So next we are going to see what are the articles and how we use before countable and uncountable nouns. Look at this slide. Noun, countable, uncountable. Okay, non-count or uncountable. For only countable nouns have singular and plural form. Is it? Only countable nouns have singular and plural form. So for singular, non-specific noun. For singular, countable, non-specific, we use the article a or an. Singular, countable, non-specific noun, we use the article a or an. Example, a university, a man, an apple. Okay, I would like to eat an apple. I would like to eat an apple. Next, countable, singular, specific. For countable, singular, specific noun, we use the article the. We use the article the advice, the theory. Okay, the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity. So, countable, now singular, for non-specific, we use the article a or an. Countable, singular, specific noun, we use the article the. Next, plural, countable, specific, article the is used. Plural, countable, specific noun, article the is used. Okay, the dogs are barking. The dogs are barking at the stranger. Okay, the dogs are barking at the stranger. Next one, plural, countable, non-specific noun, there is no article. Plural, countable, non-specific noun, there is no article used. So example, plural, countable, says friends, seats. Okay, we can say some friends or any seats, but we cannot use the article. We cannot use the article before the plural, non-specific, countable nouns. So I use that word some or any. What are those words called? Those words are called as quantifiers. Those words are called as quantifiers. Next, uncountable or non-count. Uncountable or non-count. So for uncountable, non-specific noun, there is no article. Uncountable, non-specific words, there is no article. Uncountable, non-specific, example, milk, coffee. Okay, children. So before that, we can say some milk or any coffee. That some and any are quantifiers. Okay. For uncountable, non-specific noun, there is no article used. For uncountable, specific noun, we use the article the. For uncountable, specific noun, we use the article the. Example, the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty. Okay. Only countable nouns have singular and plural form. non-countable nouns have only singular form. Already you know this. Okay. So once again, noun countable singular for non-specific article a or an. Okay. Noun countable singular specific article the is used. Countable plural for specific article the is used. Noun countable plural for non-specific no article is used. For uncountable non-specific no article, uncountable specific article the is used. I think now we are clear about the usage of article before countable and uncountable nouns. Is it? Okay. Next we are going to see about the quantifiers. So what are quantifiers? Quantifiers are used to express an amount or a degree of something. So they are used to express an amount or a degree of something. Let's look at this slide. So here some quantifiers are given which we want to use with countable and with uncountable, and both with countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, let's see that. With countable nouns, a majority of, a number of, several, many, a large number of, a few, very few, a great number of. So these are some quantifiers which we use with countable nouns. For uncountable nouns, much, a bit, a great deal of, a large quantity of, a large amount of, a little, very little. So this we can use with uncountable nouns. So some more quantifiers are here which we use with both countable and uncountable nouns. What are they? Enough, all, more, most, less, least, no, none, any, not any, some, plenty of, lots of. So these are some quantifiers we use with both countable and uncountable nouns. Okay children. Next we are going to see the exercise for countable noun. So you want to identify the countable nouns in these sentences. Okay. First one, there are at least 20 Italian restaurants in Little Italy. Second, Megan took a lot of photographs when she went to the Grand Canyon. Third, your book is on the kitchen table. Fourth, how many candles are on that birthday cake? Fifth, you have several paintings to study in art appreciation class. Sixth one, there's a big brown dog running around the neighborhood. Seventh, I get fed up with television quiz shows. Eighth one, I have a phone, few books, a notebook, a table calendar and a computer on my desk. Okay, once again I read the question. Okay, keep it in mind. Countable nouns are nouns that you can count. So countable nouns have singular or plural form. So the questions, there are at least 20 Italian restaurants in Little Italy. Second, Megan took a lot of photographs when she went to the Grand Canyon. Third, your book is on the kitchen table. Fourth, how many candles are on that birthday cake? Fifth, you have several paintings to study in art appreciation class. Sixth, there's a big brown dog running around the neighborhood. Seventh, I get fed up with television quiz shows. Eighth, I have a phone, few books, a notebook, a table calendar and a computer on my desk. Shall we check the answers? So here the answers are. First example, there are at least 20 Italian restaurants in Little Italy. Here restaurants are countable nouns. Okay. Second, Megan took a lot of photographs when she went to the Grand Canyon. Here, photographs. Third one, your book is on the kitchen table. So here, book and table are countable nouns. Fourth one, how many candles are on that birthday cake? Here, how many countable nouns are there? There are two countable nouns, candles and birthday cake. Okay. Fifth one, you have several paintings to study in art appreciation class. Here also two countable nouns, paintings and class. Sixth one, there's a big brown dog running around the neighborhood. Here dog and neighborhood are countable nouns. Okay. Seventh one, I get fed up with television quiz shows. Here, which is a countable noun? Television. Very good. Eighth one, I have a phone, few books, a notebook, a table calendar and a computer on my desk. Here so many countables are noun. Phone, books, notebook, table calendar, computer and desk. Okay children. So next we are going to see the exercise for uncountable nouns. Okay. So uncountable nouns are nouns that you cannot count. It has only singular form. So okay. See the exercise here. First one, there is no more water in the pond. Second, please help yourself to some cheese. Third, this information is of the first importance. Fourth one, you seem to have a high level of intelligence. Fifth one, please take good care of your equipment. Sixth, let's get rid of the garbage. 7. You can drink water or fruit juice which is rich in minerals and vitamins. 8th one, it is not enough to help the feeble up, but to support him after. Feeble means someone who is weak. Okay, someone who is weak. So find the uncountable nouns in these sentences. First one, there is no more water in the pond. Please help yourself to some cheese. This information is of the first importance. You seem to have a high level of intelligence. Please take good care of your equipment. Let's get rid of the garbage. You can drink water or fruit juice which is rich in minerals and vitamins. It is not enough to help the feeble up, but to support him after. Let's check the answers. First one, there is no more water in the pond. Here, which is an uncountable noun? Water. Second, please help yourself to some cheese. Here, cheese. Okay. Third one, this information is of the first importance. Here, information is an uncountable noun. Nice. Next, you seem to have a high level of intelligence. Here, intelligence is an uncountable noun. Next, please take good care of your equipment. Here, equipment, uncountable noun. Sixth one, let's get rid of garbage. Here, garbage. Very good. Next, you can drink water or fruit juice which is rich in minerals and vitamins. Here, water and fresh fruit juice are uncountable nouns. Eighth, it is not enough to help the feeble up, but to support him after. Here, help is an uncountable noun. How many of you find this uncountable noun correctly? Okay, very good. You are watching the video classes in the mobile phones or laptops. So, who is the owner of that mobile phone or laptops? Either your father or your mother. The mobile phones that you are using belongs to your father or mother. It shows the ownership of the thing. It shows the ownership of that things. You are in confusion. Why ma'am is speaking unrelated things? Say it. Don't get confused, because next we are going to see about the ownership. About the ownership for the nouns. So next time we are going to see about the possessive nouns. So what are possessives? Possessives show ownership. Possessives show ownership. They show something belongs to someone or something. They show something belongs to someone or something. In other words, they possess something. In other words, they possess something. See the example. If we want to show that a book belongs to the boy, it would be stated, the boy's book. So who is the owner of the book here? The boy. To show the possession, we want to add apostrophe s. After the boy, apostrophe s is added here. So the book belongs to that boy. So the boy's book. Definition: a possessive noun is a noun that shows ownership or possession of things or qualities. So whose birthday cake is this? This birthday cake belongs to Link. So Link's birthday cake. Link's birthday cake. So possessive noun is a noun that shows ownership or possession of things or qualities. How we show the possession? We show the possession by adding apostrophe s. Set. So here some rules are given how to add, how to use that apostrophe s. Let's see the rules. Rule number 1. To show possession of singular nouns, add apostrophe s. Okay, if we want to show the possession for the singular nouns, we want to add apostrophe s. Before example, the boy's book. Here boy is a singular. To show the possession, we add apostrophe s. Next, Link's birthday cake. Here also Link's is a singular. So we want to show the possession, we add apostrophe s. Rule number 2. To show possession of plural nouns ending in s, add an apostrophe. So if the plural nouns ending in s, we just add only apostrophe to show the possession. Okay. See the example. Runners ending in s, cows ending in s, trees ending in s. So after that we just only add apostrophe to show the possession. Runners shoes, cows meal, trees apples. Okay. Next, rule number 3. To show possession of plural nouns not ending in s, add an apostrophe and s. So when the plural nouns not ending in s, we want to add apostrophe s to show the possession. See here example, children. Children are plural noun. So after the children, add apostrophe s. So children's food. So next, teeth, fillings. Teeth plural noun, is it? Okay, after that plural but not ending in s, so we add apostrophe s to show the possession. Let's look at this slide. Forming possessive nouns. Singular nouns, plural nouns. See here singular nouns. Dog. So dog, book, girl, bird, car, sister, gym, my mom. These are all singular nouns. For singular nouns, how we show the possession? By adding apostrophe s. Okay. So dog's house, books, words, girls, dolls, birds, chicks, cars, engine, sister's room, Jim's pen, my mom's bag. So to show the possession for the singular noun, we add apostrophe s. So coming to the plural nouns. If the nouns ends in s, add apostrophe. So boys, tables, girls are plural noun. To show the possession, at the last we just add only apostrophe. Boys, ball, tables, legs, girls, hands. Okay. If the noun does not ends in s, add apostrophe s. Okay. So women, children, men. So these three are plural noun but not ending in s. So we add apostrophe s to show the possession. Women's bag, children's dolls, men's shoes. I think now you clearly understood the usage of apostrophe s. Is it, children? Next we are going to see how to show the possession for hyphenated and compound nouns. Hyphenated nouns and compound noun. See the example. History of the Governors General. Whose history? Governors General's history. So after the word general we add apostrophe s. So Governors General's history. Attention belonging to the passers-by. So passers-by's attention. So passers-by's attention. Third one, roles of the editors-in-chief. So whose role? Editors-in-chief. So editors-in-chief's roles. So after the word chief, add apostrophe s. Okay. Governors General's history, passers-by's attention, editor-in-chief's roles. So to show the possession for hyphenated and compound nouns. Next, to show the possession for two or more nouns together. To show the possession for two or more nouns together. If two or more nouns are joined together, acting together, then you should add an apostrophe and an s to only the last noun. So you want to use the apostrophe s only to that last noun. So first one, hill of Jack and Jill. So Jack and Jill's hill. Okay. Relationship of George, Jerry and Ilakya. So George, Jerry and Ilakya's relationship. So two or more nouns are joined together. We want to add apostrophe s to the last noun. So third one, house belonging to mom and dad. Mom and dad's house. Okay, children. So if two or more nouns are joined together, you should add an apostrophe and s to only the last noun. Next one, multiple nouns with different ownership. So multiple nouns with different ownership. So if you have two or more nouns together but they have different ownership. So two or more nouns together but they have different ownership. Each will need an apostrophe and s added. So they have different ownership. So we want to add apostrophe s for each of that noun. Let's see the example. Jan and Tony own two separate cars. Okay. So Jan's and Tony's cars. Jan's and Tony's cars. Second, George and Mary receive separate grades. So George's and Mary's grades. George and Mary's grades. Third one, Mithila, Yuvan and Meena have different ambitions. Mithila, Yuvan and Meena have different ambitions. So what's the answer? Mithila's, Yuvan's and Meena's ambitions. So two or more nouns together but they have different ownership. So each will need an apostrophe s. Okay, children. I hope that you understood the topic well. So keep on practicing the topic. Your online test starts on August 17. So study well for your test and give your best. Thank you, children.